Well, greetings from downtown Elmhurst, Illinois. Or do you say city sentry? All right, welcome to an Irving rant. Today is a short one. It's going to be the survivalist edition, the prepping edition. So this is a big shout out to all those people who had been prepping all along. You know, every once in a while in a crisis, there's bright moments and people that shine. And what's interesting about the whole prepping thing and the survivalism thing is here we've had people all along who've been getting ready for emergencies, and they've been mocked. They've been laughed at. People thought they were insane, crazy time. And guess what? Here they were, ready all along. Okay, so if you're interested in prepping, well, it's already too late. However, there are basics. There are basics that you can do for yourself. Let's break it down. I've mentioned some of this stuff already in all the other rants. The human being, an average person in mostly good health, can live for about a month without food. However, you can't go more than a week without water, and after 72 hours without water, your functionality really decreases. All right, think about that. What does that mean? All right, one of your very first preparations needs to be your water supply. And in DuPage County, Illinois, Cook County, we tap into Lake Michigan, and it's a well-established, not a play on words either, it's a very well-established system where as long as we have electric power and we have people that are healthy at the pumping stations and the supplies can come in for the chlorine and stuff, yeah, we're going to be okay. And even if the master system fails, we're in a moderate climate where it will rain and the groundwater's not all that far apart, you know. There are many ways to tap into emergency water. If you have a water heater, you probably have 20 to 40 gallons of water. It's a rotten little valve at the bottom of the water heater, and you'll probably break it when you open it up. So make sure you got a lot of buckets if you have to tap into that. The old toilets, those good old American standard toilets, a man's toilet. Well, those tanks on the toilet, the water, couple gallons of water. Here comes the inbound Metra, the 170 Winnetka, and the 132 City of Harvard. So they're running two locomotives on that one. I'm not sure why. It might be redundancy, or they might be just trying to get back to Elmhurst at the end of the Metro line. So water, what do you do if your water system's compromised? Well, you can dip into your sump pump. There's water down there. The toilet tanks have water. The water heater has water. And if you have like a basement tap or a crawl space tap, you might be able to get a gallon of water by opening the tap at the lowest point in your system and then opening a tap at the highest point in the system so the suction allows draining. That's the way to get water. Then there's filtration things you need to know about. If you're like in the field expedient way of treating water is just to filter it through your sock. That will get rid of some of the solid impurities. You've heard me talk about playing the percentages. No, I would not want to kneel on the prairie ground, the forest preserve ground, the backyard ground, and sip water out of a puddle. Before I did that, I would use a coffee can to gather the water, and then I would pour it through something to filter it. So if you got sand, if you got paver bricks in the back, you can filter things through sand. If you have a pool and you have pool chemicals, you can you can treat your water with the pool chlorine. And then if you have bleach at the house, if you were one of these crazed people that went through all the bleach, yeah, you can use the bleach to treat water. It's ratio that you're going to look up, and I'm not going to recommend that. It tastes like crap, and it'll keep you alive. You're not going to really enjoy any of this. Food-wise, yeah, staples, flour, sugar, lard, rice, beans, all the dry stuff. You can like nibble that stuff like trail mix for a long, long time. The equipment, well, if you're in your house, think twice before you throw things away. So when you were panicked and you bought those 4 gallons of apple juice, did you throw away the containers? Did you throw them in your recycle bin? Well, those containers are good for water. No, water stored after a while goes bad, and you got to really clean those things out. However, if the city system goes down, you're going to need buckets or pails or something when you go to flush the toilets, okay? So in other words, if the city system goes down, you don't have water coming in, you can use the water from the sump pump, get a bucket, and you just hold it about 3 feet above that toilet, and you pour it in very quickly, and it flushes away all the mess. And for the short period of time, you might be safe. This goes back to another one of my screeds and rants. I've told people for years, I said, in an emergency, in a crisis, you have to be very conscious of fresh water and sanitation. You have to be aware of the fresh water and the sanitation, otherwise you're going to get the outbreak of all the other diseases, and you don't want that to happen to you. You got to be really careful, and if you got people in the house that are at risk, you got to make sure that you're only giving them the best possible quality water, and you got to make sure everything around them is all nice and clean. I'm going to try to keep this one short because these the uploads, it looks like, are being rationed, and they're throttling down the speeds, and I really don't know what's going on. You can have the best message in the world, but if you can't get it out there for people to listen, what good does it do? Conversely, who's to say I am the genius that I claim I am? So maybe it's a good thing that I don't have the reach that I should have. Okay, so Survivalist Edition, basically everything you have in your house, your apartment, your condo, your car, your locker at work or school, whatever, start thinking in terms of alternate uses. Do you have a stack of old newspapers? Don't throw them away yet. You might need them to start a fire. You might need them to wipe your butt. Okay? Think about alternative uses. I'm going to get going in a couple minutes here. I'm coming up on York Street, another curbside. Southtown Dog says curbside pickup. Okay, we're going past where the old York State Bank used to be and the Office Bar. I always liked the Office Bar there. It was down near the corner of Villette and York. What a great name for a tavern. You could be there and getting loaded out of your mind, and you call home, sorry, I'm running late. I'm at the office. I'm still at the office. The good old days. So don't be so quick to throw things away. Think things through. The tradition in our family is to make something new out of something old. Slow it down. Don't panic. Don't have the herd mentality. Just because some loudmouth somewhere starts squealing and screeching and goes into hysterics doesn't mean that you have to jump on the same bandwagon and do all the same hysterical nonsense. Keep your head together. Even if the stuff does hit the fan, if you have responsibilities towards a group of people, it's going to be on you to help keep the panic down. And you're going to have a stiff upper lip. The history of surviving something, history of victory, things like that, is simply stick it out. I'll give you an example, battle history. United States Union Army won the Battle of Gettysburg, not because Gordon Meade was the greatest general in the world against Robert E. Lee. What happened was the Union Army basically held its ground, did not give up, did not surrender, did not go anywhere, and the Confederate Army ran out of resources. They ran out of the motivation. They were short on supplies. They shot their load, folks. They shot their load, and they just couldn't do it anymore. So what does that mean historically? Well, when you look at all the panics and plagues in history and warfare and things like that, the people who made the attempt, or rather the people who dug in and never gave up, no matter how discouraged they were, how upset they were, they made it. They survived. I'm not going to say it's a fun thing. It'll be easy. Your spiritual side will be questioned pretty much every second of the day. But you just cannot give up. And if you are the leader of a group, you are going to have to be in a position where your spirituality, your strength, your courage shines, and the rest of the group can take heart from that. So good luck to all of you. I am going to sign off at the corner of Palmer Drive and Schiller here in good old Elmhurst, Illinois, where our town fathers, for the most part, made some preparations for emergencies. They did exercises. They're mostly prepared. We do have good health care in this town. As long as the folks, keep the social distancing going and have some common sense, we'll make it through all this. Well, that's the end of the official screed. Now we go back into living in town the entire life, pushing 60 years, and just general whiny attitude that we have here in Elmhurst, complaining about everything, not in my backyard, and no, you don't want to do that, no, we don't need any more banks or restaurants, damn it. So coming up on the left here is where the hospital used to be. Elmhurst Memorial Hospital used to be here. Okay, pretty much starting this block on the left with all these houses with the fancy turrets and stuff. This was Elmhurst Hospital. The property got sold. It had to be extensively reworked because the hospital cellars went down like 2 levels. And so they couldn't just tear down the hospital. They had to tear down the hospital and then slowly but surely start packing the dirt down in there. So this whole section to the left is old hospital stuff. They had to repack, especially right along here, these houses here on the corner. They had to pack it. I did talk to a heavy equipment guy who didn't work this project, but it works a lot of other projects. He wasn't worried. He didn't worry about it at all. He basically said that, if they do it right, and nothing's going to settle later. Okay, this house here on the left, this is brand new, just in the last year or so. That was a teardown, but that wasn't related to the hospital. Okay, I'm going to come up on North Avenue here. I guess we'll just keep this going for a minute. I'm heading over to the Sam's Club. They set up a coronavirus testing station over at the Sam's Club in North Lake, Illinois. So if you're into the conspiracy thing, Walmart always got tied into the conspiracies. It was going to be Walmart was going to be the government, the evil government, when they took over the U.S. with their plans for total lockdown. It was going to be these Walmarts where the headquarters, blah, 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 blah. Well, guess what? The Walmarts are where the headquarters are. So what had happened was this. Somebody got some information and spun it way beyond reality. Government does these tabletop exercises, and somebody in the past said, you know, we need a standardized place across the United States that we can depend on, where we could go set up an emergency. We're going to need sewer, water, power. We're going to need parking. It needs to be near the metropolitan areas. Well, guess what? The Walmart stores fit the bill, and the Walmart management, they decided that they would cooperate, and they would work out a contract with the United States government. So as much as I'd like to make this some sort of really bizarre conspiracy, it's just not. Okay, where the tents are over there. I thought it was going to be at the Sam's Club, but what they did is they've set up over here. They're across the lot there. Gives all new meaning of going to Walmart, huh? And another one of those great ironies, it's the smokers are probably the ones that are going to stay the healthiest, because they were the ones forced to go outside. And you know, you ever see those people by themselves over near a door somewhere taking a quiet smoke? They're not inside with the rest of us vermin. Oh, check this out. They actually have a spot for media. I guess they're going to take the media and bust them up. Okay, guys in full-blown hazmat suits. Okay, now this is getting eerie. So they have a North Lake PD here. Stop, road closed. Hey, they got the Elmhurst command post over here. Okay. Okay, so City of Elmhurst Mobile Incident Command, they, I believe this is stationed usually down at Fire Station number 2 on South York. The City of Elmhurst invested in this specifically for crises like this, where they could set up at the scene and have basically a substation. It allows them to work in an office environment, maintain communications, things like that. So what they're doing is they are in a cooperative mode here with whoever the hell is running this thing. I think it's like Homeland Security. Okay.